I think the whole point of this video is so that you can do your best work and make sure that you leave it in the video. Leave it in the editing app. Leave it when you press that button to press send to your agents. Leave it and move on, okay? Move on. It's just Nyla. Hi, my name is Nyla Sastre. I've been an actress on Broadway for 10 years, and I want to teach you everything that I've learned along the way. If this is your first time seeing me, welcome. Here you're going to find tips and tricks on how to be a Broadway actress from a Broadway actress. Feel free to grow with me and learn with me. We're on this adventure together. I'm still learning, I'm still growing, but I wish someone would have told me these tips and tricks when I was coming up in the industry, so I'm going to share them with you. A little bit about me. I'm 34 years old. I started my acting journey at 24. Before then, I had no intentions of becoming an actor. I did not see myself in this world, in this industry, but I was singing on the trains in New York City with my guitar. I was busking, is what we call it. I watched movies, musical theater movies, because my mom, I had an older mom, so she would buy a lot of VHS tapes from like the golden era of musical theater when they were first taping musical theater shows, the Paramount era of just older movies that people my age weren't exposed to. So I had a little bit of an edge, I guess, in that way, but I still didn't see myself represented in any of those films. There was no one that looked like me, that had a body type like me, that talked like me. So I didn't see myself actually doing it. I more was inspired by the way that the characters in the film just celebrated life. I didn't think that I would be playing characters one day, but lo and behold, I went to BMCC and I met a wonderful professor that is now my mentor, Catherine Kavanaugh, and she told me, hey, there's this musical that's doing an open call. You don't have to have any experience. You just got to show up. And you don't have to like memorize any monologues or anything. They just want you to sing. There's singing and rapping and R&B in the show. So it sounds like it's just up your alley. It feels like the perfect show for you. And at the time I was like, yeah, okay, but I'm making $400 a day, singing on the trains with my guitar. I was having a cute little life. Like I was going to college, I was going to my open jams and my open mics and making my way around all the scenes, and everybody kind of knew who I was, and I was performing with different artists, and I had my own original music. So I was in my world of my own. I didn't really see myself shifting worlds, but God had other plans. I went to that open call for Hamilton and I didn't hear back from them for like a year, and then they offered me Peggy Mariah on their second national tour. And that was my first ever musical theater experience. I learned stage left, stage right. I learned what all the numbers meant. I learned upstage, downstage. I learned it all on the job. I learned how to dance. I learned how to sing and dance. I learned how to find out when I'm supposed to enter and where I'm supposed to exit. And that was one of the most challenging experiences of my life. I also realized so much about my identity and my personality through that experience. So I grew up like with people just wanting to hear what you do. Like, yeah, you rap too? All right, bet. It's not like, you rap? Do I rap better than you? Can you rap better than me? And I've realized very fast in this industry, it was giving, you have to prove why you're here, even to your other castmates. I learned all the different personalities that come with musical theater. I learned the divas. I learned the people, the dancers. I learned like the fact that like, you know, men in this industry are a little bit more flamboyant. There's so many things that we're gonna kiki on, okay? We are gonna kiki on it all. But this one is, what the heck even is a self-tape? That's the name of this video because I want you to know that 2 years of nothing, almost 3 years, I want to say, because it was like it was like April 2020 when Broadway was closing, and from April 2020 till like I want to say July 2023, everything was kind of shut down. Those 2 years of not working, those 2 years of not like hearing anything about what was going to happen with our industry, knowing that we are not essential workers, knowing that Broadway was one of the first industries to close, one of the first jobs to close, it was very scary. And in that time, the self-tape became very prominent in this industry because we couldn't be in the same rooms. Even when we came back from the pandemic, even when COVID kind of went down in numbers and we were back in shows and we were being casted and we were auditioning and we were rehearsing these shows and we were doing tech and all of these things in masks. They had to buy like certain masks that we could sing in that had a little bit more space in them so we could sing in the masks. Like they had to accommodate this new era of bacteria, like this new era of sickness that could possibly be just around the corner or in like sitting and hibernating in somebody's system. And before the COVID shut down, I'm sure like in Hamilton, we were passing around something that felt like a never ending flu. And I'm sure now that it was COVID, but we didn't have a word for it. So we just thought, oh my God, this flu is lasting like 3 weeks. I can't breathe. I can barely like get the notes out. I can't sing. My voice is tattered because I'm pushing harder because I can't get the air support to sing properly. We were going through it, but we just didn't know what it was. When we came back from the pandemic, there were so many different changes. Like there were now intimacy coaches in every single show. There were now a lot of Black Lives Matter, things that were the effect of Black Lives Matter. Like after Black Lives Matter became a big popular situation, we started having more inclusive and diversity awareness systems in place in this industry. They had more people of color representing us. They had more people of color representing the HR department and the company management departments of a lot of these shows that I've been a part of since the pandemic. So I just want to say those are the changes that I've recognized, and T is T. I love it. Okay, keep changing, keep growing, keep evolving to be more aware and to make us feel more safe as actors, because y'all, this 8 shows a week, woo, we're gonna get into it. That's a whole nother video, but it's not for the week, okay? But so was born the self-tape. And at first, it was just your phone propped up against something high enough to be eye level with you, your front-facing camera because you needed to see that the shot was right, recording off of the mic on your phone, and then editing in some type of app and sending it over to your agents, or sending it over to the casting department that was the head of the show that you were auditioning for, and that was it. I remember like piling up books and chairs, putting a chair on top of a table so I could lean my phone, and then finding the perfect size box to put on top of the chair so my phone could lean against the box in the perfect angle to get a straight ahead shot. And I have learned so much since then. My techniques and my skills in self-tape have become so much strong. My self-tape game is strong, y'all. So I'm going to share that with you. I have my other phone here, and she's just going to help me keep track of the things that I do want to make sure that I talk about in this video. And I don't want it to be too long, so I'm going to try not to kiki too much. But y'all, I'm a talker. Just so you know, I'm a talker, okay? So yeah, I want you to also know, this is the next thing that I wanted to talk about. Self-tapes are still very prominent. The pandemic is way over. COVID is we're not even given like COVID sick days. There was a whole like 2-year period where if you got COVID while you were in a contract, you had like 2 weeks, or I think it was like a week of sick days on top of your regular sick days to be able to accommodate the rise in numbers of COVID cases in the shows. So you would get like an extra week just to be able to heal from COVID. That's gone. COVID is still very present. Like I'm sure people are still passing it around, but it's not as, I guess, scary or dangerous because we have the vaccinations and we have people kind of taking more care of themselves. I feel like it upstarted a whole like health, self-care, wellness boost in our society as well. But we can say it and talk about all the ways that COVID affected our reality all day. We're here to talk about self-tapes. The self-tape, right, is supposed to be a way to accommodate auditions. So you don't have to show up in person to the audition. You can just tape it on your own time and send it into casting. And on their time, they can watch the video and, respond and send it amongst the department heads or whoever needs to see the video to clear the casting. And to give you a real glimpse into how important self-tapes are, I'm in MJ the Musical on Broadway right now because of a bomb self-tape. I did not get to come in and meet with the team. I didn't do an in-person audition at all. I did my self-tape on a Wednesday, and by the next Friday, I was in a wig fitting. So that's how important self-tapes are, okay? And they're not the most complicated thing in the world. You don't have to make them the most complicated thing in the world. As you grow in your journey and as you grow in your career, your self-tape game will grow. You do not have to start where I am right now. I need you to start where you are. Don't go and buy a whole bunch of equipment and you're not making money. Don't go and invest in a whole bunch of things and you don't actually have the experience to book the things that would help pay you back for those tools. Get into a nice cushy job, get into a nice cushy show or whatever it needs, and just be putting money aside. I have an Amazon list of all the things that I have purchased to help my self-tape game thus far. I also have a playlist on YouTube of a bunch of creators that show you their techniques about creating a self-tape and exactly specifically how to do it. This video that I'm doing right now is to tell you my tips and tricks. It's not to tell you how to self-tape. It's to really more so give you what a self-tape is and the things that have impacted my self-tapes personally. All that being said, I still do self-tapes. I want to say I do at least 2 self-tapes a week still right now while I'm in a Broadway show, whether it's for TV, film, or for another musical theater show or for a workshop. I'm constantly doing self-tapes. I even have done voiceover tapes, which is self-tapes without the camera. So we're going to talk about a lot of things, all right? So the tools I use. I have 2 circle lights. I have a circle light that's a little bit bigger for my at-home use because I have clear white walls here and all I need is a circle light with the tripod attached to it. At work, I have a little bit of a smaller circle light and I have a blue screen that pulls up from the floor and can accommodate most rooms to above your head. Like I think it's about 7 feet tall or 6 feet tall. So no matter what space you're in, you can pull that blue screen up and have a nice backdrop. I've linked that in my Amazon influencer shop, so feel free to look through that list and get the things that you can afford right now, that you actually need, and that would help your confidence. Because it's not about having the best self-tape. It's about you performing your best in that self-tape. And what I have realized is the more prepared I feel, the more confident I feel, the more intentional I have been, and the more I have invested into that moment, the more I can just be carefree and be myself and not have to overthink, does this look right? I don't have to have so many questions because the questions were answered before I even got in front of the camera. How do I look? How do I this? How do I that? I've answered all those questions with the tools and the skills and the way that I have invested in myself thus far. So move at your own pace. Please move at your own pace, right? But what I have is my circle light for the home and theater. I have a mic for musical theater self-tapes. You're gonna have to do some singing. So what I have is I have a little speaker that I got from Five Below. It's just a little external Bluetooth speaker so I can play the background music while I'm singing and I don't have to play it off of my phone while I'm trying to record off of my phone mic as well, because that can become a little, I don't even think that's possible, to be real with you. So I have the speaker. You can also do it off your MacBook speaker, I found. If you have an alternate phone, you can connect your alternate phone to the speaker and have your phone that's recording there. I love these Samsung Galaxy Note phones because they have a little pen and the pen has a button and you can press that button to stop and start the video as well as start and stop the music. So I love that little tool. I'm sure that there's other ways that we can do that and finagle that happening, but that's just what I do. But when I want to make my voice quality as clear as possible, I use my microphone setup with my MacBook. So I use a Scarlett interface. It's a lot. This is a lot extra than what you need. But if I want my voice to pop out, this is also how I do like content and videos where I'm singing. This is the same setup I use. So what I've learned is you can copy and paste the skills and techniques that you learn with self-tapes to do content, to do YouTube videos, to do long and short form content. So all the things that you've learned, you're going to be using in all these other ways as well. I have my soundproof bubble, which I will also link in my Amazon list, because no matter how noisy it is in New York City, where I'm recording most of the time, or at the theater when the show is going on, or all the people in their dressing rooms are having conversations, laughing, listening to their own stuff, watching a show, I can use this little bubble that I bought and it cuts out majority of the sound, and you can speak so closely to the microphone. You can sound so crisp for voiceover auditions. But also for like singing auditions, you can place it nearby or just off camera and sing into it. You can put that audio through something like Logic. If you want to post it on social media, you can put it through Logic and add some reverb. You can add a little echo. You can add a little auto tune if you want. Add a little bit of zhuzhing of the sound, you know, and post it on my auditions. I usually just denoise and de-ess so that it's as clear and concise as possible. And then I'll use apps like InShot or Canva to match it back to the video, to basically make the video, add the audio, sync it back to the video and send it off. Framing for me as a woman is above my cleavage and below my shoulder, to leaving like a little bit of space above my head. I like to leave because I think that's the best shot for them to see like your physical, like, you know, like if you do anything with your shoulders or anything, like animated wise, like the way that you react and respond. I think that's a good view of seeing how your body reacts as well as your face. But they will ask you in the audition write-up exactly what they want from you. They will tell you exactly what they need. I need you to read that audition write-up very clearly. I need you to go over every single thing that they ask from you and write it down on a separate piece of paper and then check it off. Okay? I need you to make sure that you are doing what they ask of you. At least for me, that gives me the peace of mind of knowing I didn't forget anything. I didn't do something that they're going to look at like, well, why didn't she do the other side? We asked for 2 sides. I don't personally think that you have to be off book for lines and stuff like that, and unless they ask you to. Sometimes in the write-up for the audition, they also say that you are not required to be off book. Just pay attention to those details as well. If you can get off book every time, do it. It's helpful to playing the character. It's helpful to making choices, because then the words become like muscle memory and you can invest more in being calm and making very distinct choices rather than trying to remember what line comes next or trying to read off of a teleprompter and act at the same time. I have had to do that because I haven't had time to get off book, and the teleprompter apps that are available are very helpful, and I was able to do it. That's when you have to make sure that you're taking time to do as many takes as possible so that you can get to what you actually want. Because at first you're going to look like you're reading, and then you're going to look like you're a little bit more relaxed and you're taking more time with your thoughts. Then you might get off book a little bit and you might just need to look at the teleprompter here and there for just a cue as to what the next line is. But you want to get into your most relaxed, comfortable, natural state, okay? This character, unless it's a very high intensity, high energy, very specific character choice, I want you to believe what you're doing and be intentional in what you're doing. It doesn't mean you have to be super animated. This camera is close to your face already. In theater, in musical theater, and in stage plays, we have to be more animated because the balcony needs to see what we're doing. And if you're playing something really intense like this and the other characters in your face like this, those people in the balcony don't know what y'all are feeling. They can't see your eyebrows. They can't see your face. And that's when it becomes more body. And that's when it becomes like, what did you say to me? Like, they need to see the story too. And so it becomes an influx in energy and an influx in intention in that direction. But when you're doing a self-tape, this camera is right in front of your face. Just show them that you can act. Show them that you can have stakes. Show them that you have confidence and that you believe what you're saying so that they can see you make a very distinct choice and decide if that's what's right for their show. You can have the best, most beautiful self-tape. You could have the most intention, be off book for the lines, sing the song down, sang everything down exactly the way they wanted it to. I want you to also know what's for you is for you, okay? And they have a whole cast, a whole team. They have a whole group of people they're putting together, personality-wise, heights, complexions, hair, everything matters. They are trying to tell a very distinct story, and casting has in mind what they want. So don't feel like it's always that you just didn't do your best job when you don't hear anything back. The point of me having this video and making this video for you is so that you can use these tips and skills to leave it all in the video. Do your best work and then walk away. And it's either the opportunity is for you and you're going to have a great time, or the opportunity is for someone else and they're going to have a great time. And I want you to learn to be grateful for letting things go. When you see somebody else in the part that you auditioned for, I want you to go, man, that's amazing. She's going to do a great job. Even if you have to lie to yourself, fake it till you make it. I want you to think of how grateful you are that you're going to have another opportunity she gets this opportunity, but thank God I'm gonna get more opportunities. They're coming my way, and who knows, I might have not done what I needed to do in that show, and I pray that they chose her and that she does well and that she goes on to do well. I pray for the best. You don't want to be sour about parts. I promise y'all, I've done hundreds now of auditions. I've only been in maybe like a handful of shows. You have to let it go. It will mentally mess you up, okay? What's for you is for you. You won't have to struggle. You won't have to force it. You won't have to fight with it. If they ask you to string all the videos together in one long video, do that. If they ask you for separate videos of all your separate sides and songs, do that. Label them, okay? Label them yourself. Put your character name, put your name, and then put your agency at the end if you want. I'll show you an example of that. I don't like to dress exactly as the character does. For Shucked, I did put on some denim. And for Wicked, when I went in, I did put on like a green fluffy sweatshirt because it was winter time and it was like a dark, like an olive green. And just to give them intentionality in my decision. And so I felt good. That's the whole key, I think, is that you have to get the best out of yourself. So how can you set yourself up to give your best? How can you be the most comfortable, the most confident? How can you really, truly ground yourself in the decisions you're making by being clear as to why you're making those decisions? I love that Uta Hagen. Why did you turn your head? Why did you take a deep breath? Why did you sigh? Why did you riff? Let's really get into it, y'all. You cannot be hooting and hollering all over these people's music. If they ask you to learn a song, learn the song on the page. If they ask you for an R&B song cover or something from your book, show them what you can do. Show them your belt, show them your riffs, show them how you can modify to accommodate all these different things that they might want from you. Show them your tricks in that scenario. But when you are just recording a song, you want to know the rules before you break them. I don't think that it shows integrity to just riff because you can. I don't think it shows integrity to do a run at the end of a lick because you can. If that's what the song is moving you to do it. If the musical director wants that from you, they will ask you in the room. But show them that you can do what's on the page. That's my opinion, of course. Self-tape is horizontal. Your slate is vertical. Your slate is going to be a shot from a little bit above your head again. And I want to say, for me, to my ankles, I don't think they need to see my feet. Personally, I do it from a little bit above my head to my ankles. It's a thinner shot. It's more like a reel rather than like a cinematic shot. And that's where you're not going to play any characters. You're going to be you. You're going to show them your personality. You're going to say your name. If you're a flirty person, flirt with the camera. If you play a lot, play with the camera. If you're very serious and you're very grounded and very soft, do that. Make sure that you show who you actually are, because they're assembling a group of cast members, a group of people, of personalities, of talents, of skills. They want to see who you are. They want to see what kind of person they're adding to the equation when they choose you for the part. Like, yes, be skilled and know how to do the acting bit, but also know that they're putting together personalities. They're putting together a cast that they want to work well together. And also know how you work in every show and how you work with all your cast members, all the stage management, all the directors, all the musical directors, all the masters of direction. They all talk. They're all like, I know you've heard from other people about some girl and you're like, well, I never met her before, but now I know what she's like through this person. People gossip in this industry. So make sure that you are being who you want to be in all those rooms. Make sure you are giving a good representation of yourself. You don't have to cosplay as a good person. You don't have to be the yes person. You can be you, be respectful, and show up when you need to show up with integrity. Show up and do your job. Show up and do the work that is expected of you. Once you sign a contract, show up. Okay? That's what I would say. But before you get to show up, we have to get back to the self-tape. I like to use Canva and InShot to edit. Canva, I like to pay for the service because I also use it to make flyers and to make videos for my content. And they have just a lot of options that are very useful to me. But if you need something free, InShot, InShot, InShot. I don't know if they have it for Apple, but I know on my Android phone they have it. Has a lot of the different editing tools, has a lot of different techniques and things that you can use on there. And I really like that you can extract the audio and you can add an audio file. That's how I sync up the Logic audio that I enhance and my video. I do it on InShot, so it's very useful for that. If you are not a sight reader, I need you to learn how to work harder, because you have to learn what's on that page. Back to learning what's on the page. Learn what's on the page, okay? That means slowing down the plunk. That means printing out the sheet music and going plunk by plunk, note by note, and seeing what word you're supposed to be saying, what note you're supposed to be on at what part of the song. Memorize that song. Because you are not a sight reader, it's going to be a little bit more challenging for you. But I want you to learn the song up and down so that you can sing it with your full presence and full confidence when it gets time to. If they tell you to sit down in a scene, get a chair, make the camera eye level to you, and do that scene in the chair. If you are standing, make sure you're standing the whole time. It's hard to edit when you sit down in the middle of a scene, so if that's a choice in the scene, you're gonna have to just move around that. Nothing is set in stone. I just want you to do your best work, and that means being intentional. That means caring. All of this just takes care and effort and investment, okay? If you are walking onto stage at the top of the scene, I would say do that into the video, so that they can see what that's like, so they can see your intentionality again. Coach your reader. If it's not an actor, if it's just a friend that is not part of this industry, they do not need to be doing the most. They do not need to do every inflection of their voice. They do not need to pick a character voice and do that reading the sides. This audition is not for them. They are not booking off of this audition. It is your audition. So make sure you're setting yourself up to do your best work. If somebody is pulling your focus while you're trying to read a scene or trying to do a side, trying to do some sides, you need to tell them to cut it out. You need to tell them, hey, I need you to do it like subtle, normal. I need you to not pull focus. So can you just read it like we're having a regular conversation? I need you to tell them. Or I need you to work with other actors who know and are responsible in those ways for themselves during their self-tapes, so they understand what you need for yours. They also have readers that you can hire. There's services where you can pay someone to either read the scenes with you on Zoom. You can pay an acting coach to do the scenes with you on Zoom. If it is a really important part that feels bigger than what your experience has given you, I would say if you have the capacity, pay someone to coach you. Do not pay a coach and you're not making money from the profession yet. We are not trying to go broke to book a job. You need to live. And especially for us actors here in New York City, it is not cheap to live here. Do not go investing in all this equipment and you don't have no way to pay for it. I promise you, it's not going to pay you back unless you're going to be turning it into being an influencer on TikTok and posting every single day until you make your money back. I suggest if you're waiting for a show, audition to the best of your capability right now. And when you book something, invest more. Take some money out of the money that you're making per week and save up for the things that you actually want to enhance your skill set. They also have teleprompters, like teleprompter apps that you can download on your phone. So if you're not off book, which I would implore you to be off book, so for you, it's not for them. It's not because if it's a really important part for you, it's a part you see yourself doing, it's something you really want, be off book so that you can be as present and as grounded in your acting choices as possible. So you can spend the energy not looking for the line in your head, but investing in the next choice, making sure that your choices are clear and you're not like working through a filter of fear of forgetting the next line because you have to record it and you have to get this take right and all the words have been right up to this point and now you messed up a word and you have to start all over again, or you blanked and went to the white room and now you don't remember the rest of the lines. You have to start all over again. Memorize those lines if you can, but if you cannot, if it's too short of a time period, which sometimes these auditions you get 2 days and it's 3 sides, it's impossible. And casting knows that. They cannot ask something unreasonable and inhumane, like it's impossible. So they have teleprompter apps where you can I like to put it on my MacBook and I put it just off of the side of the focus of my camera so that, some hair. I'll put it just off the side of the focus of my camera so that I'll be looking at the character and reading my lines through the MacBook. So I'll be reading and try your best to memorize as much as you can, even in that scenario, because you don't want to do this. You don't want to be doing a scene and you're reading the lines. You want to know the gist of what you're saying and just use it to say the lines clearly. But you want to be looking at a person, even when you're using the teleprompter. You want to be very specific about your choices. You want to give your best work, because yes, you can read. They're not paying you to read. They're paying they're paying you to play a part and to make the audience believe you. And to do that, you have to believe yourself first. So put yourself in a position to be as comfortable as possible, even if you're not off book. Get familiar with why you say what you say. Every line has a reason. You don't have to memorize the lines to know why you say them. You can be like, you can just make a choice. Just make a specific choice. It doesn't have to be the right choice. It just has to be specific. It has to be clear. It has to be transparent. Okay? If there are props, to have the props. If there is a YouTube video of a high school or a regional version of the show, watch it if you need help with the context. I'll be honest with you, if you don't have access to the whole script, I would implore you to find any version of the show and watch it so that you can understand the through line of your character. And if there is a script available for download it and read that thing on your train ride, when you usually are scrolling, get one of those apps that reads it to you and just read it. Just read the book, listen to it, make it a little thing with your friends and sit around and read the script amongst yourselves. But you want to know what's going on. You want to understand why you're doing what you're doing. I also feel like it's good to memorize the lines because you're respecting the writer's work. That is someone who put love, care, and energy into everything that they put down on that paper, and it's specific to them for a reason. And yeah, they might not notice if you say don't when you're supposed to say do not, but when it comes to changing up the entire line, don't do it. If you messed up, yes, you can salvage that take, but do another one where you try to get those words right, because you don't want to freestyle. This is someone's work. You want to have integrity for the work that was already done before you became a part of the process. And lastly, I want you to feel proud of what you do and then let that thing go, let it go. I can't make this more clear. You are not going to be able to change anything after you've recorded, edited, and sent it to your agents or sent it to casting. That's it. That's all that's within your control. Everything after that is God, the universe, whatever you believe in, all those people that are a part of the team that is putting together the show, that is up to them. And what's for you is for you, okay? What's for you is for you. You won't have to fight for it. You won't have to force it. It will be for you. Keep your hands open so that you can receive by being grateful. Just be grateful. I'm grateful for all that is. Look at all that is. That's how you keep having things drop into your hands. Keep your heart open so that you can understand. So you have understanding. The girl who played the part that you auditioned for, it looks just like you, sounds just like you. You're grateful that you got that experience. You're grateful for the opportunity to be in front of that casting agent. You're grateful to send in a tape for a big show. You're grateful that they keep asking you to send in tapes. You're grateful that this casting agency keeps calling you in for new shows. Thank them. I like to send a little email to casting saying thank you so much when I'm in the room, for sure. Thank you so much for having me today. It was such a great opportunity, and I appreciate you still continuing to call me into the room for these beautiful shows. I look forward to seeing you next time. Make it authentic. You don't have to kiss nobody's butt. You don't have to be a people pleaser. You don't have to be a yes man. I need you to be your authentic self, but I need you to figure out what your authentic self is through the filter of gratitude, because it's going to be the healthiest thing for you in this industry. It's going to be the healthiest thing for you to stay grateful for exactly where you are. Even when you are a starving artist, even when you're between shows, even when you did 17 auditions and you was in the room with all the girls that got booked and all of them got booked and you didn't. I need you to stay grateful. I know it's hard. It gets overwhelming. It gets stressful. It gets, why not me? When's my time? I need you to stay grateful. It's going to keep your heart open. No matter what's for you is coming. Whether you're depressed, stressed, crying, whining, or you're happy and grateful and joyous and open and present and grounded. Either way, it's coming for you. But how do you want it to meet you? You want it to meet you and you be so satisfied because you were so afraid you're never going to do a Broadway show again? Or do you want to be like, yes, thank you, God. Again and again, you come through, you pull through. Thank you, Nyla. Again and again, you show me that the love and the care that I pour into you is working, and we are healing and we are growing and we are getting new experiences and new opportunities that we never thought, being in rooms that we never thought. Okay? I love you and I like you. Thank you so much for joining me on my first YouTube video. This was really scary, and I'm sure I'm gonna panic when I press the button to upload it. But if you liked what I said, please feel free to press the like button. If you have somebody that this might inspire or this might help or you think might like my personality and might get along with me, share this with them. And I'll see you again soon, so soon. Take care.